There goes the record. And you're good to go.
Good to go. All right. We're live. This is the human condition. I'm here with Derek Denham again, and we're back here talking about the same type of stuff. Let me go to the podcast Detroit here. I want to grab this and I want to share it on a couple of pages so people can hear this. Oh, and I got to turn that down. Just real quick though, while I'm doing this technical thing, your thoughts, just spill them on what we've seen. And then, the thing that prompted me to really jump on this is the thing that happened right after with this guy who murders people. So what are your thoughts?
I mean, Vince, unfortunately, man, I hate to say it, but we may have this conversation a few more times over the course of the year. Let's knock on wood. But I'm tired. I'm tired. And, I don't know if you're aware, but the NBA, there was supposed to be some games today, and I think they canceled. The players decided to boycott. And it's really just a sad situation, Vince. I mean, we're all on social media. We're debating with people, and we're debating with people that I know they have common sense. Right. I know that if it was the other way around, that they would have compassion and remorse for what's going on to minorities such as myself in this country. And it just makes me sad, and it makes me angry, quite honestly.
I mean, it makes me angry too, and I'm not. It's just sad to sit back and watch. I'll put a post out there that I think has all the common sense in the world, because I check my facts, and do I know what happened beyond a shadow of a doubt inside that car? No, I don't. But what I do know is a man was shot in the back at point blank range, 7 times. And so I'm talking to a guy last night. I'm on a Zoom call with him, and he's trained tactical use of force for a big portion of his life. Been a cop his entire life, corrections officer. And so I'm going to ask people first. I'm not going to force an opinion. Obviously, I see the video, and I know better than to just drum up an opinion then, even though it looks fairly obvious what's happening. And I said, what do you think of that? Because I know you saw that, and I know you teach that. He said, he's like, Vince, man, he's like, and he sent me the use of force continuum, which I read. And he said, you're going to see the word reasonable used consistently throughout. He's like, and there's not a reasonable person on the face of the planet that's going to be able to say that man with his back turned to him, reaching in the vehicle, was an imminent threat, and that he couldn't have been handled with the amount of officers around him. He couldn't have been handled, taken to the ground. You know what I mean? So I just, some of the comments that I'm seeing, like from people that I used to consider friends, mm-hmm. Like when your mentality is that hateful, mm-hmm. regardless of whether you're blocked or not, I can't be around you. I can't be in your. I mean, I'm open to conversation that's searching, right? But if you're stuck in that mindset, that's some hate that I can't be a part of, because I might get sucked into that hate. Nothing gets solved there. We talked about the eye for eye thing, and
correct.
That's how it's got me feeling. Like everything lately, from the pedophilia, the people using that as political positioning, and then this, which looks like the start of a civil war, a possible civil war.
Well, let's hope it doesn't get to that case or to that point. It's, again, I can only speak from my perspective, being a 53-year-old Black man in America, who obviously, like I said to you before in another podcast, I've come from rape. So, and I don't need to expound upon that. I mean, again, I'm an Afro-American. So that means I'm of mixed heritage, so to speak. And again, we don't want an eye for eye. That's not what anybody wants. Back in the day, you had a brother named Malcolm X who before he was enlightened on certain things, he was all about an eye for an eye. And again, it's not. I have children. They go to different schools in the suburbs. I was raised in a diverse community, and it's just what do you say? And I'm to the point, Vince, where it's like I don't want to keep debating with people that I know that know better. Rodney King was beaten by 15 officers on video. And the defense attorneys, they broke each frame down of the video to try to show what really happened. We're putting too much thought into this. It's common sense. It's common sense. The brother that was just shot in the back, he could have been tackled.
Well,
They could have grabbed him.
and the one cop did grab him by his
No,
TikTok.
nothing.
They could have pulled.
Nothing. And then anytime, sorry, Vince, but anytime these things happen, what's the first thing that people, the naysayers say? They want to dig into his past.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's what came up first.
Well, what did he do? Or, he did this in the past. Does that mean that he should be murdered or attempted, or someone attempt to murder him?
No.
Does that justify that?
No, it doesn't justify it at all. People were bringing up, and he's been known to be aggressive with police. Well, was he right then? You know what I mean? Like, the police are trained to act in the moment. Like, that's in every situation, their first priority is to de-escalate, right? So if there was no imminent threat, and look, I don't know what happened in the car, but he didn't get to a glove box or anything. You know what I mean? Like, he barely got inside that car. And again, I don't know all the facts, but I don't. It appeared pretty obvious. And if you're close enough to shoot a man in the back at point blank range, you're close enough to do something else.
Dude, they could have shot him. Hell, shoot him in the leg. His back is turned to you. His kids are in the car, supposedly. I don't need to know anything else. My eyes tell me what I need to know, Vince. At the end of the day, George Floyd, when he was murdered, I didn't need anybody else to tell me or to show me any other video. I see what I see like anyone else.
Yeah, there wasn't anything there to be talked about.
It's to the point that it's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. I sent you, Vince, some Snoop shared on Instagram.
Yeah.
Videos. And it was a white gentleman, taunting police.
Attacking him. That dude was attacking him. I shared that video before. I'm like, I'm just going to leave this here.
Attacked him.
Cops running from him. He goes to take the cop's car.
But look down in Wisconsin. The gentleman that just got arrested, the young boy just got white kid just got arrested for killing 2 protesters. Now again, he just got arrested.
But not on the spot.
Not on the spot.
They said he's walking with an assault rifle, and everyone's saying he just shot somebody.
Not on the spot.
Gets arrested at home.
He's allowed to walk away, walk down the street with a weapon. Assault rifle. Can you imagine if that was me, Vince?
Oh, you're dead.
A bald-headed, intimidating individual.
Yeah, no, you're dead. You're done.
I'm done.
Yeah.
And this is the problems that we have in the Black community, Vince, with this whole issue, because we know people understand it. We know they understand it, and they try to act like, or, again, well, he was this or he was that, or if he would have just complied. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? This people has gotten killed complying.
Well, Philando Castile reaching for his wallet.
Exactly.
Reaching for his wallet.
Reaching for his wallet. The one gentleman that was killed with his wife was in the back seat, and she filmed it on Facebook Live. And he told the police, hey, I have a authorized weapon, a legal weapon. Hey. He got killed. What else are we supposed to do? At what point, and I'm asking people that are watching right now, at what point do we say, you know what? Enough is enough. At what point do we do that?
that's the point. It's feeling like it may have reached.
That's the question I want to ask. I mean, I know whoever's watching, I'm talking about America as a whole. What do you want us to do? What do they want us to do, Vince? That's the question that needs to be asked. What we've begged, we've cried, we've hollered, we've shouted, we've smiled, we've laughed. What else do we need to do to say, hey, treat me like the police dog? Well, the dog just got killed by the police dog in Detroit. There's people on there that have so much empathy for that dog, which I do too. But treat me like you would treat your common animal that lives in a house or a cat.
Yeah.
That's the problem. And like I said, I can talk about this. My other Black friends can talk about this. But it's people like you, Vince, believe it or not, that will make the difference. Because the more white Americans that speak up and speak out against these cowardly acts, that's what it's going to take. We can go march till my feet catch on fire.
Yeah.
But it's not going to make a difference. Economics, we got to do things with hit them in the pockets.
Yeah.
And we've got to get more white folks like you, my brother, to speak out and stop ignoring these things. Stop ignoring it, because at some point, again, people are going to get tired, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't want it to get to a point where, because you have a lot of mentally challenged people already in this world with everything that's going on.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
You know what I mean?
Traumatized. In some form or fashion, we all are.
Exactly. And you got snipers. Back in the day, it was the DC sniper or whoever. People are tired, man. And it's only so much that people are going. I mean, it's like, it's to the point you got to tell your kid, don't go outside. Don't go to the store.
It's really, it's people. That 5-year-old kid that got shot by the guy that was on drugs, that they tried to turn that into a political pawn. Like, man, leave that kid alone. Leave that kid alone. But that speaks to the mental illness in society, because that guy, from what I understand, was having drug-induced hallucinations.
Right.
And I don't know that had anything to do with race. I think he was just gone.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people in society like that.
Yeah.
They're just gone.
They're gone, Vince. And even the craziest person wants compassion. Think about that. You know what I mean? I mean, even the person that people may deem the worthless or the homeless or what have you, even those folks want compassion. And hell, they got enough common sense to see what's going on out here.
Well, and A Course in Miracles, it says that everything is a cry for love. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, and so if you're a jihadist and you're cutting off somebody's head in a cave, there's some love you're going to get from that, right? And then and this idea of these 72 virgins, like, people just want to feel connected, and our environment has alienated in this illusion of separateness, this illusion of I'm different, you're different, this illusion of lack and limitation, because there's not enough for me. I can't let this person have, and all that bullshit. We become disconnected from our environment, and then we find these fucked up ways to try to feel good about ourselves.
Right.
And a society can teach us what those ways are.
Right.
That's where white people are traumatized in a different way than black people by racism of this generation, because they didn't agree to it, but they're perpetuating it by denying it.
There's no doubt about it. I think Nikki Haley said, what did she just say at the Republican National Convention? Something about racism in America doesn't exist. Is that what she said? I don't want to misquote her, but this is ridiculous.
It's crazy. It really is.
And you got our political leaders. You look at the Republican convention, they're propping up black folks to say these things. And, there's another lady out there that she's going to be speaking, and she's a white lady. She has, I guess, I don't know if she adopted a black child or she, if that's her natural son or not, but she was making the contrast between her black or brown son and her white son, and how it's a legitimate reason for police officers to treat the brown kid or be more leery of him than her white child.
She was justifying it?
Huh?
She was justifying it? Saying that's okay?
Yeah. Now she's the parent. Think about what I just said.
And they let her talk.
She's gonna talk at the convention, yes.
I have to check that out.
Think about that.
That's insane.
If you got parent, white parent saying about this child that they either adopted or had, I mean, how can we win, man?
No, and she has the talk with the one, and you go do what you want with the other. It's mind that shit's mind blowing.
It's beyond mind blowing. And again, I don't know the answers. And I'm like I said, I'm really tired of having to try to even address it, man. Because at some point, and it's not, let's call it what it is. It's not just white folks doing certain things, Vince. It's even black folks. You got people like Candace, what's her name? Candace
Candace Owens.
Yeah, her.
Yeah.
I don't even like saying her name. But it's just mind blowing, man. It is mind blowing.
So that's
and you got black cops that feel, I got friends that's black cops, and they feel like they're being attacked and my question to them is, I say, hey, if you're one of the good ones, we're not talking about you. Yeah. Why are you taking this personal?
Well, that goes back to the done with my appointment. If you want to, let me. Alexis wants to chime in.
Please.
Yeah. And I want to get to this point that you were just talking about.
Great.
Dave, I'm going to send you Alexis, or do you still have Alexis' email? Dave? Oh, great. Well, yeah, what I was talking about, so this was going to be on white privilege, because I have some white friends that don't believe that it exists, right?
Vince, I hate to differ with you. They believe it, but they ignore it. And I've said that before. You gotta be. I gotta believe a lot of people that follow you or you grew up with, they're educated folks, they're professional folks. They didn't get where they're at by being dummies or oblivious.
But look at Donald Trump. I mean,
but here's the thing with Donald Trump, and this is just my honest opinion. Donald Trump, before he even ran for president, Donald Trump was a Democrat. I'm not saying that makes him better than anyone else, but we do know that most Democrats and Republicans have different ideals. Let's call it what it is. And I think, and this is just my honest belief, I think once he got elected, hell, they were surprised. And then he said, you know what? I'm in here. I'm in it to win it. Now I've got to appeal to my base. He's got to appeal to his base. And I'm not saying he doesn't believe in the things that he puts out there, but I think with the people around him that's in his camp, he knows who's his base is. He knows what they want to hear and what they're interested in. And that's why you see these brown kids locked up in cages.
Yeah.
He knows what they want to hear. So, hell, I'm into the stock market. But guess what? I'm not so money hungry where I want to make money at the expense of other people. It's more to it than just about making money or the stock market rising where, hey, everybody's, it's not about that. To me, it's about compassion for your fellow man, brown, black, white, whatever they are.
Hey, Alexis.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Alexis. How you doing?
I'm well. Well, I'm angry, but I'm well.
Yeah, it's a time. I don't even know how to describe it. Some of the shit that's being spewed online and used as logic has got me in a different frame of It's just, it's,
That's because the only reason you in a different frame, Vince, is because you want to see the best in people.
Exactly.
Remember, acceptance is a part of the process,
Mhm.
right? You ain't got to see the best in everybody if it ain't fair. You can't accept them for what they are.
There you go.
And let me be clear, I am very, very raw on this issue and probably shouldn't be here.
no, you should be. This is the right place to be, because it's places like this, and I put an invite out there for, people to send an inbox message. And I didn't expect too many
No.
people to want to hop on, right?
No.
Like, because if you're not ingrained with compassion, I would feel afraid to get on this Zoom call in public, because I'd rather sit behind a keyboard and type my shit there.
There you go.
Because here you're not going to last long, and we're not going to attack anybody, but you're not going to be able to fire back with anything that makes any sense.
But also, why would they? Right? Like, what is the benefit?
Well, that's the question.
I'm here is because there probably is some benefit, or at least in my mind, I like to believe there's some benefit. But if I get to just go on in my rage and hate and silence or whatever it is, and be a part of the dominant culture and have things go in my favor, what is the point unless I just want to be a better person?
Right.
If I have no interest in being a better person, why would I even risk myself to be publicly attacked or shamed?
Right. Yeah, no, that makes sense. There is no benefit.
Yeah.
And
those people are they're keyboard gangsters, man.
They're out for themselves.
Yeah.
And it's just like the lady that I said that has the black child, she's a white lady, she deleted that video that she said those things on, and most people, once they get in a public forum, they're going to, unless you're a Donald Trump or someone, and guess what, at the end of the day, I respect someone that has the nerve or the courage to say what they're going to say it publicly. So be loud, be proud. That way I know who I'm dealing with.
Yep.
I respect that, but I also don't expect that from the type of person that has this problem. Like, that's the part that has me the most enraged. I'm not surprised at the way. So, like, dude, the 17-year-old with the AR-15 is being called a vigilante, not a murderer. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit is, excuse me, this is so predictable.
He went home and slept.
That's the enraging part.
He went home and slept. And
he's not a terrorist.
He drove right by him.
Yeah.
But like, the reason I'm so mad is because I'm so not surprised.
Right.
At all. Like, I can predict the next steps. Even your Facebook friends. When I'm not because of you, Vince, but I'm ready to unfriend you because I hate them.
Yeah.
And it's a strong word, and in this now moment, I mean it. Right?
Yeah, don't go on there now, because there's some dumb shit.
Oh no, I don't want to, but like, I'm not surprised.
This one guy comes on and he says, he's like, oh, so you're gonna defend a sex offender, and he starts going into all this sex offender, and said, well, there's a system in place for that. So whatever justice needed to be served, it's been served or is going to be served. That's not your place.
Right.
And he says, well, I think he got what he deserved. I'm like, that's not your place to say that. I'm like, if you feel so strongly about sex offenders, then you go out there and do it yourself. Go do it your damn self, and you go to prison, right? What's that?
I said, at least then I would respect them.
Right. You know what I mean? But is this really an excuse for that sentiment that you really got buried? Right. I mean, because there's a fine line. Yeah. It's becoming less and less fine. It's becoming more and more obvious what people are protecting with that bullshit, because you're not that dumb.
That's right.
Believe the things you're saying, you can't be that dumb. Or maybe, I don't know.
Hey, Vince, I put something on your page, and when the person made that comment about him being a sex offender, I said, well, Donald Trump publicly said, well, not publicly, he's being recorded, but he grabs women, they by their private parts. They love it.
Yeah.
They love it.
Boys will be boys.
Yeah, boys will be boys. Hey, locker room banter.
I do want to say this. That does bring a complexity to the issue, right? Because as a woman, as a person, a Black woman who's been 15 with all kind of predatory men,
Hmm.
there is a part of me that says if he's a sex offender, I'm not mad that something bad happened to him. However, this isn't about him. In
Right.
the sense of like, I got over 6 foot tall, 15-year-old nephew, and another one coming right behind him, and a 6 foot tall, big black male brother. Right? Like I got enough. Like it's just
What,
I'm a
what,
spiritual being having a human experience, and right now I feel like fuck that.
right. Well, Alexis, here's the piece. And this is and people could take this, how they want to take it, but everybody has rights. I mean, everybody has rights. So, someone, I mean, even either the gentleman, a sex offender. I mean, whatever. I mean, he's wrong as hell, and he's going to pay his price in hell for that. But at the end of the day, there's due process.
Due process.
You know what I mean? So
I don't think the cop should have killed him. I don't think that's what I mean by it's not
Right.
about him. I volunteer
Right.
to go into prison. And you
Right.
know what? I don't ask them what they did because
Right.
I'm not there yet. So I don't
Right.
want to know what you did. I want to just be here to love on you because that's what I came to do.
there you go.
Well,
There you go.
it's definitely not the cops. Like you're held to a higher standard. So if
No
some
doubt.
family
I
wants
don't
to
think
go
they're
out,
to a higher
they're
standard.
supposed to be.
No,
I-
the cops doing exactly what they was designed to do.
Oh, definitely.
Well, there's truth to that. But
Definitely.
so you know what, Ben Shapiro actually made a valid point when he was trying to refute systemic racism. He was actually supporting it and what he was saying. He said, "Well, you are right." He was talking to Joe Rogan. He said, "You are right. The rules have changed, but nothing has been done to remedy the past, right? So on the surface, it looks like we're changing all these rules, and here's this program here, and here's this program here, and we to change the name of the fucking Redskins and all that, all this stupid shit. But really, what's been done to repair? Has anybody? There's still so many people out there that aren't acknowledging the trauma, that are just trying to brush it under the rug and say, we're not going to move on, Pat. Trauma don't just go away. It doesn't work like that. It stays for generations and generations and generations until somebody acknowledges it. And now it's not just a family now. We're dealing with a collective consciousness of human beings, 300 plus million of us. And the kids have no problem acknowledging it. You tell them this is how it went, and this is it. They're like, oh, yeah, that's crazy that happened. But there's no denial in it. You know what I mean? It's real. Well, that's stupid, kind of thing. And they move on. But it's the adults that have the ability to change things that keep denying the shit.
Well, that's where it starts. Racism, you're not born a racist. That's embedded in you when you at birth, when you're as not at birth, but you grow up and you're taught to be racist. That just doesn't happen.
No.
I mean, and if you talk to any young kid in middle school or younger, and you talk about these issues, a lot of them think they's like, hey, the day is going to come where this is going to change, and they're so optimistic. And I think being older and being more privy to things, I'm not saying they're naive, but being privy to certain things that they haven't been privy to yet, it just, you kind of shake your head. You hope they're right, but I don't know. When these things keep happening, it just makes you wonder, will things ever change? What will it take?
I feel like what it takes is people collectively getting in contact with their own cultural heritage and separating from this whole black and white divide. That's just what I think. I feel like, so I was having a conversation with a friend earlier, and like it being so black and white, there are many other people of color in between that are kind of just existing in not being black and not being white, and finding safety in that, right? Like Vince, you notice, I get livid at the idea of calling it racism instead of white body preference. Right? Like the system is designed to have a preference for white people. And unless we teach that it's a white problem, black people are gonna keep suffering, and everybody's gonna want to not be black to live. right? Like people are having to choose between their mental health,
Mhm.
the security of their children, and the courage of their own conviction. And let's face it, most humans don't have that, right? Like, or safety. Whiteness gives you safety, not safety from anything other than not being black.
Mm.
Right? Like, that's the safety, because it's acknowledged somewhere in people's minds that being black is dangerous.
Well, and here in America, oh, go ahead.
Well, and I agree with what you said, but on the same token, I bet they're going to be more upset about the NBA being they're boycotting the games. They'll go to the games, they'll listen to our music, our entertainment. Love Michael Jackson, love Prince.
People was brought here for consumption. Of course they will.
You know what I mean? Love their NFL football, but how dare we knee? How dare we do that?
Well, here's I was making this point earlier about the white privilege thing, and what you just said, Alexis, is the white body thing. You don't have to be white to be, you know what I mean? Like there's plenty of black people with white privilege. What's her name? We were just talking about her. Candace Owens.
Well, Vince, can I interject?
Yeah.
She has it to a point.
She can be taken away.
She has it to a point because, see, every now and then, a black person has to be reminded. Every now and then, O.J. Simpson, you got to get reminded. And I hate to say it like that, but it just is what it is. And Candace, she didn't get invited to the NRC convention, the Republican convention, and people have been, just joking about that. But as soon as you think that you're accepted, every now and then it takes you to get reminded. And when I say that, I mean as a whole. I don't mean I mean as a whole.
I don't think she has white privilege. I think that she's being tokenized.
Exactly.
I agree. It's the illusion of white privilege, but
I agree.
There's white people.
That's not a privilege. That's that is she has internalized oppression, and what she has found is safety in agreeing with the oppressor.
That's right.
She's stereotypical. So in fight or flight, there's fight, flight, freeze, collapse. She's frozen. Right. She's in froze mode. She's like a deer in the headlights.
Well, and I know Alexis, being a light-skinned person like myself, you're sometimes more accepted than, say, one of our darker counterparts, and that's even in the black community.
That's correct.
So it's sad because.
But that's an effect of white body preference. That's colorism.
Exactly.
The problem is that the system is designed for people with white bodies to have preferential treatment or just not as bad treatment. Like, so if you trade in your culture, meaning with your German, Irish, Italian, that practice, for whiteness, you get safety from oppression.
Exactly.
Not safety from poverty, not safety from whatever else I can't think of right now, but you just get to not be black, and that means you get to live. That means you get to be in a suburb. That means you get to have somebody else to shame.
If you act white like that, and that's the thing, because I was talking to some of my friends from the hood, and they never use that privilege. They dress in a way to where they still get hemmed up by police, and he's like, I never experienced no privilege. When I crossed 8 Mile, I talked like I was from Detroit. I got made fun of for it. I had to fight all the time. It was around my junior year that I finally said, I'm sick of fighting. I'm going to start acting white. I'm white. I look white. I didn't trust white people. I had a thing, you know what I mean? I didn't relate to them. I was used to being poor, and now I got made fun of for the shit that I wore. And there's shit that white people make fun of other white people for that I didn't get made fun of when I lived in Detroit. Like, we didn't even think like that. So I had a problem, and I had to adjust to that. And it was from around my junior year where I said, I'm gonna start acting white and start talking real white. I'm not gonna get any tattoos because I like committing crimes. You know what I mean? I created a character, and I used my white privilege. I didn't really know what that was. This is all hindsight. Looking back, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just trying to make my life easier. But I had to reach out to grab that white privilege, because otherwise I was treated. Now the thing that we would be called, me, was white trash. What's that?
the thing about privilege, the white privilege, is not that there is, so you use that, you saw a path out of poverty.
Poverty.
White privilege doesn't keep you from having poverty. It makes it easier for you to have a path out. I can't
Exactly.
never use white privilege to get out of poverty.
No, you can't.
Right, that's the
Yeah, so
privilege.
can't
It's not, it's not like, so your friends that haven't used their white privilege, they just haven't escaped poverty. They still have white privilege.
But
Just
what I'm,
because they get
what I'm
rounded up by the police, that's because they, I mean, if everybody, so they're just being sacrificed. I don't have a better way to put it. They just, so what? That's, I mean, classism is still a thing too. Like there's these
Yes.
intersectionalities, right? There's layers to this shit.
Right.
Yeah.
I have privilege for being a cisgender female,
Mhm.
right? Like there's privilege. Privilege depends on the contextual field.
True.
In the context of society, if you have white skin, your life is not guaranteed to be easy. It doesn't save you from things. It just means that being a different color race is not something else you have to deal with.
Right. You can't turn that off.
No.
But here's the sad part of the thing about you said, Vince, about you wanted to, at some point you had to just say, you know what, I'm gonna act white.
Yeah.
What I mean, because at the end of the day, what does that mean? You know, does that mean the clothes you wear? Because
Yeah.
here's
well,
the thing. But let me just say this. Well, here's the thing. Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO and owner of Facebook, one of the richest men in the world, what is he known for wearing all the time? A hoodie.
Yeah.
The same thing Trayvon Martin wore when he got shot for looking like a hood. So what I'm saying is, you and I could wear the same clothes. I could wear some Timberland boots untied with some jeans or your hoodie. You could do the same thing.
And you'll look like a construction worker
Exactly.
and not a thug.
You can ride, listen to DMX in your car. I could do the same thing. But
Well,
you're gonna be looked at differently than me.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just being 100. You could be smoking weed, walk into a mire, and I could do the same thing. And it's a double standard.
It's a huge double standard. And look, when those kids got pulled out of the car in Colorado, that ain't happening to me. And I know that. Like it, because I'm fuck you. You don't point your gun. Get the fuck out of here with that gun. I want your supervisor. I'm not getting out of my car. You're scaring my kids. So fuck yourself.
You would live.
And I would live. And I know that. I would live, and there would be no fear of death. I would be so appalled that you would think to do that to me. But then and that's what I used for one of my friends and this guy actually is a friend. And I'm like, you think white privilege means you were given something. It doesn't. It just means you don't have to tolerate that shit. Like that doesn't have to be a part of your life now. You don't ever have to get pulled out of a car for suspicion of driving a stolen car and have your fucking kids laying on the ground face down, crying, traumatized for the rest of their life on a mistake. And somebody say, that's just a cop's mistake. That's white privilege.
Oh.
That's what that is.
Or people who, so people be like, oh, if the cop let them away, but they just walked up with their hand on the trigger. Like, having a gun pointed at you is a traumatic fucking event. I don't want to have to face my death because you feel safer.
I was a lifelong criminal. Like I said, I used my whiteness to get things back to Detroit that I shouldn't have been getting back to. But the things I walked away from, I know what white privilege is. I know what it is. Every time that I've been pulled over in my entire life, except for the one time where they were actually looking for me and it was undercovers and they boxed me in and then and then I hit their car. I smashed the car trying to get away from them and I still got pulled out of the car and put on my knees and they gave me a little bump off the fucking door on my head, but that was it. And I had just smashed the cop's car. But never once has a cop come up to me at any point at night, knowing that we were probably doing some dirt. We're out doing whatever we're doing. We're a car loaded up with a bunch of loudmouth motherfuckers, and never once have I had a gun drawn on me in a traffic stop. It's never happened. And I've done some dumb shit.
I have not had that experience either, but that also doesn't mean that I don't have my camera phone right there, right above my steering wheel. And when I get pulled over, which I have been pulled over and I just start the recording. I'm compliant, but I'm also terrified. And that's the thing. I'm expected to handle my fear in a way that says I need to defer to authority, and I got authority problems, right? I don't fucking like that shit. Don't tell me what to do. And yet, if I want to live, guess who gets to tell me what to do? Whether I'm right or wrong. And here's the thing. It's not just murder I'm worried about. I'm worried about getting raped.
Mm.
People like to teach defiant women like me a lesson.
Yeah.
There was
Wow.
a police officer that cavity searched a 17-year-old Black child on the side of the fucking road. And you got to choose between being cavity searched or dying. But here's the thing. We're saying all of this, and people will still have their justifications. Well, all you got to do is comply. All they got to do is their fucking job.
Right.
And yet that's not a thing. That's not something that comes up. So these are people that aren't wanting to become compassionate. They're wanting to defend their opinions.
Exactly.
That's who they are. And the way I feel today, and I might not feel this way tomorrow because I do tend to evolve once I calm down, is fuck them.
Well, Alexis, there's a reason why there's a term called, and I said this to Vince before, DWB. There's no term called DWW, driving while white. It's driving while Black. So the fact that that even exists should tell someone something, and that's on the minimum level. I'm
Black
sorry.
people made that up to identify their experience. White people don't have to think about this at all.
No, you don't.
At all. Like it's not. They're the terms that exist. The fact that this exists means nothing. It's been existing. They don't give a fuck.
Been existing.
Right? Like this is. I get so frustrated with trying to beg people to care about something other than themselves. The same way trauma gets stored in your DNA, so does the preference for comfort, right? Like, why you think you get to be so comfortable? What the fuck make you so special? Oh, because you're an American and you're an individual and because you never had, the thing is, it's indoctrinated in you from the way that you were raised in this society, whether you ever encounter a Black person or not.
That's right.
Society has it set up that there is a fear to be built in with the way that the media describes stuff. The way, like, if you choose to engage in Black-centered, or not even Black-centered program, but programs even with a token person, right? Like, it's societal programming. So it takes people willing to deprogram society.
For whatever reason.
Why I feel hopeless. I just do. I've been living all my life with racism. Why am I trying to fight this fight? That's the way I feel today. I know how to find my happy place. You know why? Because I've had to. I had to learn it. I'm sitting here sketching right now. You know what I'm saying? That's something I like to do.
Yeah, but I don't think that's okay. I don't think people should have to live that way.
I don't either, but should and what is two different things.
It's always been two different things, you know. And
Vince, I would love for you to get someone on the show with a different view. I would love to see some you get some you know what I mean? I would really love to see some of those folks that I debate with on your page
they
to
won't
come on. And I know a lot of them don't have the courage, and they're watching. They're watching.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to them right now and challenging them to come on, but they don't have the courage. They don't have, because it's common sense. Yeah, when you're talking amongst yourselves, you know, and that's the beauty of social media now.
It can be, yeah.
That's the beauty of it. Because now the white sheets, you can't hide under the white sheets. Because you have these conversations amongst yourselves, and next thing you know, hey, guess what? Oh, they forgot Derek was a friend of Vince's.
Yeah.
Or Hugh Gall, one of our personal friends, or Stan Bridges. They forgot that we're all connected.
Right.
That's the beauty of this social media thing.
Yeah.
So I can peek in and see these conversations. It's the best thing that ever happened for us.
No, and that's why, you know, I was talking to Trick and about the protests, and you know,
Right.
Trick giving his honest opinion. Fuck those protests. What are they doing laying in the street? He's like, they're most of them from the suburbs anyway. They ain't doing shit. and I was telling him about what we got going on with our group that I'm in with Alexis. You should get in on this, Derek. But
Sure.
I was telling him about that. He's like, well, yeah. He's like, really? He's like, they're not cowboys down in the city. We got a relationship down here. We kind of understand each other. What really needs to happen is you need to take it back to the suburbs. I'm like, well, we are. You know, we're dealing with things in the suburbs, and our guy's actually the county executive right now, and he's of the same sentiment, all unity thinking. You know what I mean? So he's like, that's what I'm talking about. He's like, no, that's how change happens. He's like, because when we cross 8 Mile, it's a different show. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, I get that, but you know. It was fresh to hear that perspective too. I'm gonna get him on and because he's got a real raw perspective.
Oh yeah,
He's Detroit.
Yeah.
I do feel like protesting does something. I don't feel like I'm the kind of person that can protest, but I do feel like protesting does something because conscious awareness is conscious awareness, and if you're thinking about it, what we do with those people who are thinking about, that's the time to give people's attention. That's when you might have a hope of inserting some compassion or exposing their hatred.
That's right.
They were down there at first, and then it's over time when it's peaceful, right? It's peaceful, and then you just didn't understand what 75% of the people are from the suburbs. They're laying in traffic, and it really wasn't doing anything. So they're like, this ain't doing nothing. Let's change some policies. You know what I mean? We weren't the city. We're and that's something to be proud of. Like,
how do you get people to change policies without getting them to care about it first? I'm saying to take all that shit.
You got to make that noise. Like that had happened. Yeah. And Detroit just happened to be a different kind of city where these things were already kind of being worked out in the city, right? Not in the suburbs. Cross 8 Mile, that divide that still exists.
Not in Macomb Township, where a Black couple lives in the neighborhood and they have a sign up says Black Lives Matter in their own yard, and the I guess where they live, the association says, hey, you got to put that down. But guess what? There's other signs.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I didn't hear about that.
And like I said,
that happens all the time. I know somebody personally. She's in the group with us, Vince, that in her neighborhood, someone had that sign and they were told to take it down. And then so like there are signs that say all kind of everything else, but that was too political.
That's too much.
It's too political to say Black Lives Matter.
Think about that, Alexis.
I don't
think about that. And people want to misconstrue it and talk about who founded Black Lives Matter or what. Hell, I don't care who founded it. The slogan, it means the same thing. At the end of the day, Black Lives Matter. And see, that's what happens with certain white folks. They want to try to tear down, or who started Black Lives Matter? Who funded it? Where's the money going? Hell, I don't know, but guess what? I know Black Lives Matter.
But you know what? How about this? If you'll join me in changing these policies, fuck it. All lives matter. Let's go make sure they all matter. If that's what takes you to get on board with changing policies so the Black lives can be a part of all, let's go. I don't need these semantics.
Yeah, but Lexus,
you care about change. If not, then just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, but you shouldn't have to dumb yourself down or distort or the message, so to speak, because we all know all lives matter, but we also know why people say, or they can't say, Black Lives Matter. You know what I mean? It's not about your life not mattering or Vince's life not mattering or a Hispanic person's life not mattering. It's because we are the ones getting killed.
I don't think any person who has a problem with the words Black Lives Matter would have a problem with somebody saying Native American lives matter. You know what I mean? They're not going to have that problem.
I disagree wholeheartedly.
Do you? I don't think I would see a problem with that. I don't know. Maybe I'm delusional.
Don't see a problem with Black Lives Matter. You know who we talking about.
Well, that's it. I can see that.
But do you know this country's history with Native Americans?
No, I know the history.
Yeah.
I know the history.
Where do you see them being favored?
I just don't think there'd be a problem. I don't think people would be scared of Native American Lives Matter. I think fear.
Lex, I gotta agree with Vince a little bit on that because I'm part Native American too. So, but the point being is, at the end of the day, everybody knows when we talk about Black Lives Matter, and it's just like with the kneeling piece. They want to talk about it's about the flag and it's this and it's that. No, it's bringing attention to police killing us. They're killing us. Unfortunately, they're not killing a lot of Indian
I'm
folks.
sorry, but they just tack them on reservations without enough resources.
Well, yeah.
You know the suicide rate for Native Americans is skyrocketing.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt
in
about
the towns that are surrounding the reservations, then white people don't like them.
No doubt.
I disagree. Native Americans they get the worst erasure, right? Like it was a near genocide, and now we're talking about people would be okay with them having people. Those reservations don't have enough resources.
True.
The United States always backs out on their treaties and doesn't do what they say.
But see, white folks don't look at them as a threat, Alexis, because they feel like they have them under control. Right. They got right. Yeah, when they made the march, the march back and whatever on the I forgot what it's called.
The pipeline, when they had the Dakota pipeline, the white people was not okay with what Native Americans was talking about. They was like, send in the troops. We need our oil.
Unbelievable.
I don't know these white people y'all talking. I say this, I have loving relationships with white people, and I know it's not all of them, but the ones I'm talking about don't give a fuck about nobody but themselves. They don't even care enough about other people to actively hate them. It's not even a proper disrespect unless they feel threatened for their comfort.
Unbelievable.
Right? Like that is even more painful. I'd rather you have you need to see me in order to really properly disrespect me, but you don't even see me. It's like I don't exist.
Alexis, how can you argue? When Obama was president, this guy's never, his family had one negative, just being black.
That's the burden of being black.
They just hated him being black. And then I had people tell me, I used to work a job with some guys, we were cool. At least I thought we were cool. And the election was coming up with Trump. And I said, well, we got to talking about it. And the guy was like, well, I'm voting for Trump. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, man. He said, Obama, man, he's raising my taxes with free health care. I said, I said, man, do you realize, I said, where you live up in the hills, you guys gonna need that health care too. And it's just like, what are people thinking? I don't get it. I don't get it.
You don't want to be able to get it either.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Work harder. I'm assuming. But if you care about people, and so like you said, you thought y'all was cool. That means that you don't have them same kind of problems that they have, right? So why would you want to understand what they're thinking, other than to try to disassemble it?
I mean, I want to understand. I can't a lot, but I do.
Well, Vince, I think we're saying it in a way we're being, it's rhetorical. We understand it. Unfortunately, it's just there's just people that they're like you said, they're afraid that someone's going to take something from them, even though they took it from other folks. Mm-hmm. #Indians. Yeah. So they're afraid that this country that they took from someone else, that we're on the rise and we're going to take away something from them, which we built this country as slaves, free labor.
People. But the thing is, the part that I have the issue with is that I understand that people who are alive today did not enslave people. Right. But when you look at the disproportionate effects of history on certain sects of society, I think the reason they go straight to defensive is because they know somewhere inside they're not willing to do what it takes to make the change. And so if I don't have the chops to make the change, and I don't even know if it's a quick thought, like that's how them subconscious thoughts be. Go in there and figure them out. Yeah. But if you're not willing to do the work, then I'm going to defend. I mean, that's just human nature. I would defend my position if I believe I'm right. And sometimes it's easier to just go to I'm right rather than to check to see.
And I hate debating people like that. If someone brings a good argument, to their, they bring something to the table that makes me rethink something. Hey, guess what? I'll be the first one to say, you know what, you're right. But you can't argue or debate with someone or even change someone's mind that's not open-minded.
No, I would.
They're not trying to be, it's not about reasoning anymore. It's not about that because we're not looked at as people.
Well, I can't even get. I'm a white dude. I look white. I talk white, right? And I've, I garnered some props in the white. You know what I mean? So I can't get a good argument out of people, and I'm trying. I'm like, come on, just give me something, and then I just got to shut it down because it's like there's so much nonsense. It's just block, 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 and I know when people shut down, right? There's nothing I can get. So here's where it ends. Really, it's got to stop here. Like there's nothing. Like we can't talk about love or compassion because you keep going back to dumb shit that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. You're caught in this world of semantics, and all it is a defense mechanism for what? Because you might get your ego hurt. Like is that's your ego is so fucking fragile that you got to protect it. But the truth is, and I know this, when I went into survival mode as somebody with PTSD, I was fighting for survival when somebody cut me off. You motherfucker, I would pull over, I would fight you. I would do. Right. What kind of sickness was that? You know what I mean? And the trauma it took to jostle me to where I went in to evaluate myself so I could be a better father, right? Like it took that. It can't take that as a whole. Like this is what's happening because it's taken that.
I would love, this is what I would love to happen. For the folks out there that are white folks that don't agree with what I'm saying, I would love for one time, just one time, that something happens, a knock on wood, to someone that looks like me, and just one time they find compassion with it. One time. When Candace talks about these certain situations, it's always our fault. Not one, give me this one time, say, you know what, damn it, the black guy did everything he was supposed to do, and he still got killed. Give me one time. One time.
Couldn't do that even with Philando Castile.
I was just gonna say that. That's what.
Come on.
They'll skim right by that. They don't have anything to say about it, but then
they can say that was wrong, but that doesn't make them care to change it.
That's there it is.
I want people who care to change it. Now, I do think if enough people who care to change it get together, elect people who are like that, then over time, what is popular will prevail because the ego is what's being driven. So like if it becomes unpopular to be hateful, then people won't be hateful. That is over time. You can hope that maybe for your children.
Well, I'll tell you this.
I don't feel safe when I leave my house.
I said this to Vince before. I think what's going to happen eventually, and this is a fact, the United States is going to start to look like more like people that are mixed race. That just it's happening. And so at some point, I mean, you talking about they feel like they're being something taken now. You wait about another 20 years because people are going to look more and more of mixed race. Let's call it what it is. And what are they going to do then? Go ahead.
They're going to do what they did in South Africa. Colorism will be the thing. It does, like, this is a wound that needs to be addressed and healed. And where there's difference, it's like, so everybody's not going to be beige. Everybody will be varying shades, and there'll be less and less white.
Exactly.
But that make it automatically mean that this system won't be further the way that it is. Like
we're getting it's 7 o'clock. So you guys got anything you want to close with? I'm we could go on forever about this, and then we'll go on some more. We'll continue doing it. I'm gonna continue doing it because my kids ain't growing up in this world.
Well, Vince, what I'll say is real quick is that I appreciate you, man. I mean, you're a brother from another mother, and I appreciate, and we need more people like you, man, to help with this plight. Because to your point, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, do I?
This keeps going. So that's what I want to say. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I know what side I'm on. So whatever happens, I know what side I'm on. At least I know that. My kids know. You know what I mean? So I'm with you. But
that's what I want to close with. If you are an anti-racist, or if you don't believe in a preference for white bodies, raise your kids to be woke, and that's the hope of the future. Because they gonna be fighting this fight too, but if we more people, they'll be ready.
They'll be ready and there'll be more of them.
There you go.
All right, it was good talking to you guys. I'm sorry we have to talk under these circumstances, but we'll keep them going.
Keep hope alive.
Other things I like to talk about.
All right, have a good night.
All right, take care.
Coming on. All right.